So in terms of DEWSII, the impact and benefit really has been pulling together all of the literature. There's a huge amount of papers on dry eye, and it's really important for clinicians that that's drawn together, so the key points in terms of how we can move forward in terms of our definition, our diagnosis, and particularly our management are all aligned in terms of a global consensus. So in terms of diagnosing dry eye, not only do we need to diagnose it, but we also then need to classify the different types. The two main types, aqueous deficient and evaporative. And the importance there is our treatments tend to align with those different types of mechanism that are causing the dry eye, and obviously targeting that in terms of your treatment should have better effects for that patient. So in terms of managing ocular surface disease, it's really important that we understand the underlying mechanism, particularly the cause for that patient. So we need to understand, as part of our general history and symptoms, the environment that they're in, aspects of their diet and their working environment. So again, we can target treatment so we can have the maximum type effect. This is a multifactorial disease, so it's not something that we can just give a magic tablet and it will solve it. So the proposal was that we had more of a stage management. There are 4 proposed stages. The first one more around education and advice and some of our simple artificial tears. Second stage moving up to more hot compresses and our basic pharmaceuticals. By stage 3 we're moving into more of your systemic type managements, and then finally surgical type managements at the top stage. So the majority of what people are going to be doing are in stages 1 and 2, but that gives loads of options to manage the dry eye patient. So one of the things that we've learned over the last few years is really the importance of lid management. Aqueous deficient dry eye is a relatively small percentage of patients, and that's obviously to do with volume and teardrops and viscosity, but actually the vast majority of dry eye has an evaporative component. And that evaporation, it's really important to get the glands in your upper lids working and lower lids working as well as we can. And one of the very simple ways that we can do that is by heating the lid, bringing it up above 40 degrees, will melt the meibum and allow that to flow onto the ocular surface. And we've seen in studies that can have remarkable benefits for the comfort of patients into the longer term. In terms of managing that anterior lid, we've got 2 aspects to that. One is cleaning up the lids, particularly from things like blepharitis. We know that that can really affect the comfort of the ocular surface, but the other aspect is to get that meibum flowing. And again, by heating up the glands, making sure that the meibum melts and gets onto the ocular surface and also unblocks the orifices along the lid margins, we know can have a significant impact on patients into the longer term. So one of the things that TFOS DEWSII highlighted beyond doubt is the damage that can be done from preservatives. Even preservatives that are relatively new still have a massive impact on the ocular surface. So by one hand we're trying to manage the ocular surface and make it better. In another way we're putting a preservative on which will potentially damage that ocular surface. So moving away from preservatives is so important, particularly for people who are on multiple medications such as your glaucoma patients. We've all seen the impact of that on people's ocular surface. So moving away from preservatives is very much how we should be going. In terms of omega-3 fatty acids, there have been plenty of studies now that have shown a benefit, and we know that general health in terms of nutrition is not good, and things like omega-3 make impact in lots of different health arenas, not just dry eye, but it also has a very good impact on dry eye. There is one recent study that didn't find an effect, but actually if you look into the details of how that was performed, perhaps that led to that particular conclusion. But the vast majority of studies do show benefits, and it's something that a patient can easily be advised to do. So stage 1 of DEWSII really highlights the importance of education in dry eye disease. Why is that important? Because people actually need to understand the condition. It's really important for patients to get that this is something real that they're reporting to you in terms of their symptoms, the fact that there's an underlying cause for it, and also then that there is potential management. So it's really important that they have an understanding. Also, that understanding of the condition will help as you talk about management. And again, this is a chronic disease. This is not going to go away with a course of steroids and that's it, it's going to finish. This is something that they're going to have to continually manage but actually by getting it under control, by trying to reduce that vicious cycle of disease, they should have a comfortable future in terms of their eyes going forward.